How to become emotionally available to yourself. Most people believe emotional availability is something you offer to others, that it's about being open, vulnerable, communicative in relationships. But emotional availability starts much earlier and much closer. It starts with how available you are to yourself. If you struggle with emotional attachment, people-pleasing, anxious longing, or repeatedly choosing unavailable partners, it's not because you don't know how to love. It's often because you learned at some point that your own emotions were inconvenient, unsafe, or too much. So you learned to abandon yourself, quietly, consistently, while staying available to everyone else. This video is not about becoming more emotional for others. It's about becoming emotionally present within. Because when you become available to yourself, everything changes. Who you're attracted to, what you tolerate, how you grieve, how you walk away, and how you love. Let's begin by understanding what emotional unavailability to yourself actually looks like. Being emotionally unavailable to yourself doesn't mean you don't feel. Often, it means you feel too much, but don't know how to stay with it. Here are some common signs. You minimize your emotions by saying, "It's not that bad." You intellectualize instead of feeling. You distract yourself the moment discomfort arises. You override your needs to keep connection. You wait for someone else to validate your pain. You abandon your boundaries to avoid loss. You explain yourself instead of honoring your limits. Emotional unavailability to yourself often developed as a survival strategy. Maybe growing up, your feelings were ignored or dismissed or punished or used against you. So your nervous system learned, connection is safer than authenticity. You learn to stay externally available while internally disconnected. And this doesn't make you weak. It makes you adaptive. But adaptation is not the same as healing. Many people understand their trauma very well. They know their attachment style. They can name their wounds. They've watched the videos. They've read the books. And yet, they still react the same way. Why? Because awareness lives in the mind. But emotional availability lives in the body. You don't heal by understanding why you learned to leave yourself. You heal by practicing staying with discomfort, staying with disappointment, staying with grief without rushing to fix it. Emotional availability is not insight, it's presence. You cannot force yourself to be emotionally available. Your nervous system has to feel safe enough to open. If emotions once led to rejection, shame, or abandonment, your body learned to shut down or to attach anxiously. So the first step is not expression, it's regulation. Ask yourself, can I sit with discomfort without immediately reacting? Can I let emotions rise without judging them? Can I soothe myself without needing reassurance? Emotional availability grows when your body learns, I can feel this and survive. This means slowing down, breathing, grounding, pausing before acting, not fixing the feeling, not explaining it, just allowing it. One of the clearest signs of self-unavailability is self-overriding. You feel tired, but push. You feel hurt, but stay quiet. You feel uneasy, but rationalize. Becoming emotionally available to yourself means learning to ask, what am I actually feeling right now? What do I need? Not what do I want others to give me? Needs might be rest, space, reassurance, honesty, boundaries, time. Availability is honoring the answer, not negotiating against it, even when it's inconvenient, even when it risks disapproval, especially then. Boundaries are not walls. They are self-attunement made visible. Every time you say no, when your body says no, you become more available to yourself. Every time you stop explaining your boundaries, you strengthen self-trust. People who are emotionally unavailable to themselves often over-explain, over-accommodate, over-give, overstay, because leaving feels like abandonment even when it's self-respect. But emotional availability means choosing integrity over attachment. You don't need to punish anyone. You don't need to justify yourself. You only need to stay aligned. As you become emotionally available to yourself, something painful happens. You grieve. You grieve. The love you didn't receive, the needs you ignored, the time you spent chasing unavailable people, the version of you that survived by disappearing. This grief is not regression. It's integration. Allowing grief without rushing to replace it is one of the most mature forms of self-availability. You don't need to be healed to be whole. You need to be honest. When you become emotionally available to yourself, attraction shifts. Unavailable people stop feeling exciting. Intensity loses its pull. Consistency begins to feel safe. Why? Because your nervous system is no longer looking for someone to complete unfinished emotional business. You stop outsourcing safety. You stop chasing regulation through others. And suddenly, calm feels intimate. Presence feels attractive. Effort feels mutual. Not because others changed, but because you did. Here are simple embodied practices. 1. Pause before reacting. Ask, what am I feeling in my body? 2. Name without fixing, I feel disappointed. Not, I shouldn't feel this way. 3. Respond to yourself first, before texting, explaining, or seeking reassurance. 4. Practice self-soothing. Breath, warmth, grounding, movement. 5. Choose consistency over chemistry. Let your body recalibrate. These are small acts, but repeated, they rewire attachment. Becoming emotionally available to yourself is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming present. It's choosing to stay with yourself, especially when emotions rise, when attachment pulls, when fear whispers that connection requires self-abandonment. It doesn't. The safest relationship you will ever build is the one you build within. And from that place, love becomes a choice, not a wound seeking relief.